times when life is fun. You feel like leaping across a meadow thinking, I love my life. And then there are periods of times where life is boring and you think, that's really it. If you are in a state like this, don't worry, I have an idea of how to make life a little bit more fun. Let's start with a true story. With my black high heels, I'm entering the casino with 50 Swiss francs. A few hours later, I'm sitting at a blackjack table, piling my chips. I have a big pile with fiver chips, worth around hundreds of bucks. And I have a little pile, worth around 2,000 Swiss francs. Ma'am, you win again. Well, thank you. I leave the table and I go to the roulette and I place my bets. Again, I win. I'm alternating the night between these two games, blackjack and roulette, and I feel good. To fulfill the cliché, I drink a glass of whiskey. It's a summer night, and with the whiskey in my hand, I go on the terrace and I look at the stars. You brought me luck today. But I'm enjoying this far too much, which makes me take a severe decision. I can't come back here. Because I always had one rule. Playing must be fun, nothing else. If there is a risk that playing can become a burden, an addiction, or a waste of time, I will pull the trigger. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode with me, Anna Yelen, the time expert. Someone who loves to bet and who loves to play games. Because on one side, it feels like entering another world and it's a nice change to my everyday life. And on the other hand, it's funny to see what happens to me because some personal characteristics increase highly. When I play, I'm incredibly emotional. And I become enormously competitive and ambitious. My sensors are on and I love it because it's just so intense. And yes, I still remember the day after I won a lot of money at the casino. I went back there and I asked them to suspend me from all casinos in Switzerland for 1 year. They did. And it was better that way because I was afraid that I would come here or to the casino like every single day, which means it would become a waste of time. But playing can be a useful tool to change a boring situation to a funny situation, to transform procrastination into a challenge and to boost up your relationship. But before we look at the how, we have to look at the why we like to play. When we are kids, we play the whole time. Don't you miss it? As a kid, we learn from playing, and it is no difference for us as an adult. Playing is a nice change compared to your real everyday life. Then we have 3 components which make playing so interesting. The achievement component, which includes the want to advance in the game and the want to compete with others. We like that. We have the social component, to form connections with others. And there is the immersion component, which is creating and customizing a character. We like that because we are free to choose who or how to be, or simply because you have the feeling of being someone. Other positive side effects of gaming include advanced mental processes such as perception, attention, memory, and decision making. With all this said, we understand that there are many benefits in playing. Now, I am sure you have experienced the time phenomena when you play a game. Time flies. Let me answer why this is the case. We perceive time differently depending upon our mental state and the activities we are engaged in. When you are bored, or when you have to do something you rather wouldn't be doing, your mind is not occupied enough to lose itself in a state of flow, where you are absorbed in what you do. The mind starts to wander, and often it wanders towards the clock. Why? Because time plays such a significant role in our lives. But when you are in a state of flow, where you are engaged in an activity you enjoy, the opposite happens. You lose the notion of time because you are entirely absorbed in what you are doing. Now, the mind is entirely focused on the fun you are having, not worried about time. Now, take gaming or playing. It's not just that you are in a state of flow when you play. In addition, there is the focus on achieving a goal, and then time will fly even faster. Researchers believe that the excitement generated by the active pursuit of a goal is what causes us to perceive time passing quickly. Interesting, isn't it? Which reminds me of another phenomena: the timeless universe. Ever been there? Where time is erased and has no meaning at all. There is only one place like it: Las Vegas. Every casino around the world is trying to get there what Las Vegas has created. When you enter a casino, you enter a timeless world where the future does not exist. A timeless world. For me, as a time expert, it's beautiful to observe and experience it. They will do everything to keep you there and awake and to forget about time. How are they doing it? First, they keep the lighting, temperature, and noise level constant for 24 hours a day. Usually, you will not see a clock in a casino. And there are no last rounds at the bars because it's open 24/7, also the restaurants. And second, they stimulate you in every way they can. Without any drugs, just the stimulation of it all. Half-naked men, alcohol for free, the flavored awakening air, the big screens in the horse racing areas. The first time I was in Las Vegas, it kept me awake for 2 days without closing my eyes once. I had arrived in a world of pleasure. And I will never forget when I entered the horse racing area the first time in the Caesars. I don't know in which one it was. It was heaven. There was one huge screen, about 10 smaller ones, which are still very big, to the right. And then on every place where you sat, you had a little TV where you could choose the race. I always worked with 2 of them. I was specialized on the American racing, so I knew all the horses. I had studied them for months, and I was good. And I wasn't the only one who observed that. Which brings me to this special day at the race course, which happened a month later after my Las Vegas visit. I'm observing number 4. In his eyes, I can see that he is on. He isn't nervous yet, but the moment will come where he goes out there and he will be nervous. But luckily, he's experienced enough to handle the nervousness, and then he will go as fast as he can. And today, he will win. So I bet on horse number 4, and yes, he wins. Next race, one of my favorite horses will be on, and he's in good form, so I bet on him. He wins. I go back to the paddock area where you see the horses before they go on the course, when I feel someone watching me. As I turn around, an Asian guy comes up to me. "You have been winning the whole day. I will offer you a job." And I look at him, and he's serious. In short, the job was to bet on horses with his and other investors' money. Like for a long time. Did I take the job? What do you think? Anyways, now let's look at the how we can bring some player's mentality into your ordinary life. For example, what if you would look at work as a game? Meaning, don't work for the money, work to win. Become the best in your game, make it playful. One of the things about playing is you always have a goal. Even if it isn't to win, you might have a personal goal. And we could stimulate work by defining a daily goal and also to define your reward. And that makes it a bit more gamely. Let's take another example of something you don't like doing in the office. You don't like to make phone calls? Make a game out of it. If I make these 3 phone calls before lunch, I will reward myself with a nice espresso in my favorite coffee place. Or you could do the game with each call. With each call, you have to get better, meaning try to make the person laugh. Think of a story you could tell the person which would transform the phone call into a good moment. Or another example in the case of procrastination. Tell a colleague, "I have to do task X. Can you please ask me in the end of the day if I have done it? And if I haven't done it, I will have to pay you $100. You will learn from these experiences like we did when we were kids. In golf, it could be that you tell yourself to play better than your last round. In your workout, it can be to go for 3 reps more than usual. And the best thing, put some playing mentality into your relationship. Bet about stuff. Bet about who shall cook tonight. And have you ever played a video game with your husband or your wife? Try it. Or play cards. Or do role plays. Whatever you do, and no matter which area in your life, try to replace too much seriousness with a bit more a playful attitude. My dear listener, it's time to play and to finish this episode. What I'm saying is that life is severe enough, and it won't harm to put some playfulness into our ordinary days. Playing is essential because it enriches life if it stays a game. And that is why I didn't take the job to become a professional bettor in horse racing. I knew that if I did this as a principal activity, I would lose joy and I would become bored. And the suspending myself from the casinos for 1 year, it was because I didn't want to waste my time in there. And of course, it was completely exaggerated to suspend myself. But, I suppose I didn't want to lose my focus, which was on other vital pillars in my life, which meant the world to me. Like Diabolo, my best friend, the horse, which was my after-work activity, my boyfriend and my responsibility at work. God, that sounds so boring, but it wasn't, because we had fun. And thank God I didn't suspend myself forever, because I don't want to miss Las Vegas and the nights in casinos and sometimes to go to a horse race. Want to join me? I'm serious. Are you ready to play? I have a proposal. As you might know, we are working on a members club where I will welcome you into my universe of time. When I will have 1,000 members, I will launch a game. And if you win the game, you win a ticket for a very special adventure in the timeless city. Yes, Las Vegas. With a tiny group of like-minded people and my humble self leading you through some exciting time experiences. And you will have unforgettable moments. And I guarantee that you will tell your grandchildren about this. Once upon a time, I was in Las Vegas with the time expert. Take care.